welcome. Thank you to all those that are joining us today. Hey, Funke, how are you?
I'm good.
Good, good, good. Nice to have you here with us
Yes.
today.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
I'm all right. I'm okay. Good morning. I'm good afternoon.
Good. Yes, last week I was where you were. I was a guest barrister last week because a friend of mine interviewed me. So now I understand how the guest barristers feel, because sometimes you might be a bit nervous. And this is your first time of doing an Instagram live, right?
Yeah.
So can we show her some love? Give her virtual hugs. Let her feel welcomed. Let her know that this is home. There's no need to get nervous or anything. We're all families. So please show our guests Funke Kofo-Abayomi some love. I can't see the love. No, she needs to see the face. Yes, the hugs. Thank you, Kemi. Yes. Okay, thank you. Yes, and all the love. Can you see them?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. We love you and we appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you.
Come to share your story. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get right into it. So I guess today is Funke Kofo-Abayomi. I've known her for a bit. She's my sister's besto. Actually, I was going to say besto, but I know that maybe somebody else will say, what me tell her besto. So maybe she's one of our bestos. You know how people are. They will not go and say, I thought I was your besto. And I think it was last year that my sister said, oh, you've got to have Funke come on Hangout Cafe. And I kept saying, okay, tell Funke, but she never got back to me. I don't know if she told you.
Yeah.
But she did. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I guess this is the right time. This is the time.
Yeah. I think really what pushed me is is the recent occurrence of what happened to a friend of ours that passed on, and the need to actually share stories. I think that's what really motivated me to say, listen, let me even talk so that people know the reason to talk, when issues come up. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself. For those who don't know you, tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Funke, otherwise Ksenia. That's my Russian name. I'm mixed race, half Russian, half Nigerian. But I tell people that I'm more Nigerian than Russian because I don't even know what it is to be Russian. Been in Nigeria came to Nigeria in 1972 at the age of 3, and I've been here, between here, I spent 4 years in England, but otherwise schooled here, did everything here. So that's pretty much it. I have 3 children. I'm married, happily married, 3 children, and that's about it.
Okay. So tell us your story. Where do you want to start from? Because I know when we were talking the other day, you said you don't even know where to start from. Like you have loads of stories to share.
Well,
so give us a little bit of background.
Yeah. So like I said, I came to Nigeria at that age, 72. I have no recollection, and I don't know what my life was before 72 or before 74 or something like that. Because children don't really remember stuff until bad stuff begins to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know nothing about my past, know nothing about my mother, never seen her, but I've grown up living with people and understanding people for what they are, because you're a child living with somebody, but because I'm mixed race and Afro-Russian, I didn't get to speak English early. I didn't even understand why I couldn't speak English, but I just remember that people made fun of me because I couldn't speak English. In fact, until I was 27, actually, my stepmother and I were talking, and she said to me, there's no way you could have spoken English because you were born Russian. You came to Nigeria as Russian.
So
I didn't even realize
you didn't even know that.
I didn't know that. I don't, because all I remember in my life was that people making fun of me for not speaking English. So even when I began to understand English, I was very shy about it. So I knew I understood what people were saying, but I would not talk out because I felt that they would make fun of me. And so in the light of that, I also, to communicate, I don't even remember I ever spoke Russian either, because then I picked up Yoruba, and that's why my Yoruba is pretty good. because I needed to survive. So speaking Yoruba and eating eba was my survival stuff, and that was all I could eat for the longest time as a Nigerian food till I was at like 12 years old. I couldn't tolerate any other Nigerian food but eba, because I think that was the first thing. I think that was the first thing I tasted.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the beginning of it all. And then growing up, obviously, you live with people. People do not accept you because, one, you're not their child, and they kind of just push you to the back. And as a child, you're pretty much confused as to who you really are. And unfortunately, my dad too didn't really have time for me because he was busy pursuing his profession. So I was living with aunties, and they were pushing me back and forth. And I could tell you authoritatively that I didn't even start reading until I was around 11, and I had to
But did you
read
go
in
to
English.
school? Did you
I
go
went
to
to
school?
school. Oh yeah, I went to school. I went to pretty good schools. I went to this school in Surulere. I think it's Mayfield. Like it was a sister of Corona at the time. I went to Aksuashe, but I remember I kept failing. I went to Tender H, but I just I guess I had many issues. I mean, no textbook, no pencils, and you kind of just have to figure out life yourself, kind of. So I had
I guess
many stuff
you
going
were
on in my
not
head.
settled. That's why
I wasn't settled.
yeah, that's why you
I wasn't
couldn't read
settled.
till.
So
It
I had
led
to
from
make personal efforts to help myself when I was much older. That listen, Funke, you can actually read. Don't kill yourself about it. You can. So I started. My dad at that time I was then in London. So when I got to school, in fact, interestingly, when I got into the UK in 1979, I started school 3 days after, and I remember then that I started talking. I was communicating. So I said to myself that, oh, these people said I couldn't speak English. How come I can hear and I could understand and I could talk back to people if I really couldn't speak English? I mean, because they had convinced me that I could not speak the language. I couldn't understand English, and yeah, and so it was so bad that every time
sorry to
that my
interrupt.
happiest moment.
So sorry to interrupt. Okay. So prior to that, it was only Yoruba that you were speaking in Nigeria.
More or less, yes.
Wow.
More or less, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I went to school, but yes, at home, all I spoke was sorry. At home, all I spoke was Yoruba, yes, pretty much.
And then you came to England.
Then I came to England in 1979, and then what my stepmom did for me then I couldn't speak Yoruba at home. I wasn't allowed to speak Yoruba, and I was forced to communicate in English. And yeah, and that was it. I mean, that was when I learned so many things. But I mean, life as a single child, no parents, more or less, except my dad, who was even in England, wasn't there because he lived in Sheffield while we lived in London. So I had to live with my stepmom, and my siblings were then at what they call those nannies' place. They came home and then we kind of all grew up together. But life is never really easy when you have nobody watching over you. Trust me on that. Life is not easy at all.
Okay. Before we go on, let me just take you back a bit because I'm sure some of our followers want to know. So, who from Russia, when you were 3, who took you? Was it your dad that took you to Nigeria?
Another long story. I think my mom was pretty young from the story I heard. My mom was pretty young when I was born. I think she was like maybe 16 or 19. I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, she was pretty young, and I was being trained by my grandmother in Russia. So the story goes that my dad, initially when I was born, this is the story he told me, learned of my birth about 6 weeks after I was born, and he asked that. So those social workers asked for him to come and see this child, and the moment he saw me, asked for him to come and see me, and he knew I was his daughter, but he was not ready to be my mom. wasn't ready to be my father
To be
because he
your
was busy to be my dad. Yes. So on his way out, trying to get back to Nigeria, he met another doctor friend who said, "Oh, I saw your daughter, so on and so forth." And another friend is late now, now asked to go and see me. So that was a day after I turned 3, and that was how he met me, and um, and then they tried to bring me home on his passport. But if you're a Russian child, you can't come home on his passport. So he asked one of his friends, I can't remember his name now, but he was a political figure, or became a political figure in Nigeria, who now was coming. And so my dad came home before me, and then he brought me on a holiday, they said. Because even if I look at that passport, I only had a 6 weeks visa into Nigeria.
wow.
And and I've never been back since.
And what about your mom?
I don't even know what she looks like. I don't even have a picture of her.
My goodness.
I don't know what she looks like, but you know what? It is what it is. I mean, I've lived this long.
I know, but I'm just thinking that I'm sure there must be a yearning to at least know her, know her
The
family.
truth is, when I was younger, I carried her. I tell people I carried her on my back, and it was part of my problem mentally, because I looked forward to her coming to pick me up. Because I remember when I was staying with my cousins in Yaba, and they used to make fun of me all the way. Oh, I had a big head, I was skinny, I was scrawny, and everything I did was bad as far as I was concerned, because it affected me psychologically. And I look forward to 2 things: my parents, because my dad got married in 1976 or 75, 75, and relocated to England, and left me in Nigeria to stay with my cousins that had been staying with even when he was here. It's a messed up story, really. And so while my dad went away, I knew that my life in Nigeria was going to be like hell on earth, because then I had no escape anymore, and there was no way I could run to. And honestly, I was 6 at the time, and that was just it. It was just hell. It was 3 years of hell.
Wow.
As far from my point of view,
Yeah.
at the time as a child. So all I looked forward to then was my parents coming for me, either my father or my mother. It didn't make any difference. So in 1979, I was finally, according to my father, my aunt had told him that, listen, if you don't go and carry this your daughter, you will not meet her alive. So in 1979, January 6th, they finally sent me to England with my uncle to go and meet him, and my stepmother to leave. And that was how I ended up with my dad. But upon getting to my dad, I realized that it's really not the same, because I remember, even though I was that young, I was intelligent enough to know, I just knew things, and I knew that there's no way my stepmother could accept me as a child anymore. If I'd been there when they relocated, it might have been better. I mean, but at this point, she had her own kids. And for as far as I was concerned, I was just another, like a helpmeet and house help, to help groom the children and help in the house. And that was what it was. I could tell you that growing up, when at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, going to parties, I didn't mix. All I did was help in the kitchen. So I was like a house help, actually, in the UK. So then that was the need for my mom. I slept, I dreamt, wanting my mom to come and get me. But at the age of 16, actually, was when I went to boarding school, because honestly, I was smart. I would do well one term in school, next time I would fall. So having issues. Okay, let me go back a bit. So when I was 12, we moved back to Nigeria. That was 1981.
Okay.
And 81 September. And I remember that I opted to go and live with my aunt in Agege.
Okay.
At that time, school had started, so I joined Form 1 in January 1982, which was 1986 set. Okay. My mates started in September. I joined them in January, Government College Agege, where I was living with my aunt in Agege. And I remember, when I went to Agege, I wanted an escape from home.
Okay.
I thought maybe I'll be happier there, maybe there'd be better acceptance.
Yeah.
But honestly, I didn't settle down. I stayed there till 1984, and I didn't settle down. And I know that I was not, it was just house help continuation. And I just was not happy there. Just felt there was a discrimination but between me and her son, which is late now, 2 years. Tayo was 2 years older than me. And so in 1984, when my dad moved from Apapa GRE to Keja GRE, I went to help them pack their things, and I decided that, you know what, if I'm going to suffer, let it be under my father's roof. Hence, I stayed at home. And I think I was in Form 3 then, if I remember. Form 3 or Form 2, Form 3, I think, or promotion to Form 3, yeah. That was one, promotion to Form 3 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. And I was doing pretty okay in school. Then the year after, I dropped again. Then my dad just decided that, you know what, let's get this girl out of the house. Let her be, he needed to take me out, according to him anyways. So that was how I went to boarding school, Djibouti, and I think that was when I really found myself. That's when I realized that I decided that, you know what, this mother that you've been hanging on all your life, that you've been, because I remember I would walk home from school, and all I would think about is how my mom would come and take me, and I would live next door to my dad, and I would let them know that me too, I can be happy. But after that, I just decided that, you know what, this woman ain't coming. Move on, pick up your life. And that was when I dropped that bag, and I faced my studies and picked my life off, essentially.
Wow. I honestly can't even imagine. I can't imagine what you
But that being said and done, growing up, it makes you stronger. It's really, I mean, it's my story.
Yeah.
It's sad. People can't imagine, but I lived it. And honestly, I will not hold back that. For me, but let me tell you one thing that helped me, though. In 1985, I remember going to Djibouti to see my late aunt now, the one I lived in when I was a child.
Yeah.
Something happened, my shoe got lost, and I needed to pour out my mind, because sometimes when you're going through these hard times, you get choked up.
Yeah.
And I realized then that once you speak it out, it gives you a massive release.
Yeah. And
so that was my strength. God just gave me the grace to be able to speak.
Okay.
So whether it's a stone or whoever it is, I would say all my pains, what somebody has done to hurt me, how painful things have been for me. And from then on, I'll pick up. I remember, that's when I pick up from. I remember then my aunt had called my dad, and she told him everything I said. My dad confronted my stepmother in front of my siblings, and my stepmother said, I tell tales. Honestly, that word sticks in my head. But, you know, I later told my father that everybody has a side to the story. That's my side to the story. That's my pain. Yeah. Whether she sees it my way is irrelevant. And then she made my siblings support her. My immediate sister then went back to her to tell to my dad and told my dad that everything I said is true. Wow. Do you understand? But in front of her mom, she couldn't. But all said and done, it has made me a stronger person. Made me realize that, you know, at the end of the day, take each day at a time. People don't really surprise me, and it's also giving me the grace to know people even before they open their mouth. Yeah. So I'm never really surprised by people's actions. Do you understand? And
so it toughened you up.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, that's it. Every experience is an experience that either makes or breaks you. And obviously, I'm still standing, so I'm not broken. Yeah.
We thank God. You know, it's so amazing that we see people and we just don't know what they've been through. Because, I mean, until Fla told me some of the things, I didn't even know. I just used to say this pretty woman, you know, Mrs. Kofo-Abayomi.
You know, the truth of the matter is this: you don't even remember that you live those lives, except when things occur.
Right.
That you remember, God, I've been through this before. Yes, it's an experience I've had. So you just, like I said, take each day would come. Yeah. Just take each day as it comes and deal with the situation. Right. And I guess that has made me. That's basically who I am. You know.
And I guess now you live.
By the way, you said I'm pretty. I grew up thinking that I was ugly. I was told I was ugly. Wow. I probably was too.
No, I'm sure you were not. It's just that people.
But no. Actually was. I actually think I was, because I remember then in school in London, one of my schoolmates, I don't remember his name now, I think Jason or something, then said to me that, oh, that, you know, they call me Funke,
Okay.
you know, that, you know, you don't have a boyfriend because your head is big. And I totally get it, because at that time I was really skinny, and my obviously my head was standing out, and yeah, I mean, so everything.
But forget it.
So I mean,
Then you were not ugly. You were not ugly. Definitely not.
but
Definitely not.
if you honestly, if you ask my husband, he will
Yeah.
tell you that he had to work it out of my head.
Mm.
That, you know what, I am actually. I remember then he traveled and bought me a whole suitcase of miniskirt, because all I did wanted to do was cover up.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, but that's part of the maths
Yeah.
he left. But
So,
obviously, as you get older, you get out of it.
so before we go into the medical things, so talk us through some of your journey of coming out of this, because it must have taken a lot from, oh, I'm
Um,
ugly, I'm not good enough, to being able to.
Not really. It's just taking each day at a time. Really,
Okay.
you know, it's just trying to survive.
Mm.
It's all about survive. It's just trying to survive, trying to be who nobody, even like my school cert, nobody thought I would pass. It was that bad.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And you know, Stephen K, if I, it's a lot of story, and on 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, it's just little. If I pick one thing, I can blow it up and talk about it for so long. So it's not really coming out of anything. It's just taking it at a time, being happy with who you are, knowing that in this situation there's really nothing you can do,
Okay.
and I also grew up to be a people's pleaser. So I understand, because I understand emotion. So I knew that to get on my somebody's good side, my stepmother's good side, or my, you know, I would have to give something.
Okay.
So I just gave myself. Did the best I can, even though I know that a lot of the time she didn't see it.
Okay.
I remember once we were, I think we always hosted meetings in my house, and rice had poured into the sink after I washed it. And I was told that I was accused of wasting rice and doing it intentionally, you know. But you just take people for who they are, really, and just to do the best you can, be good all the time. And like I said, I had God on my side. I don't know, God was just there. Like I'd always say, his mercies always spoke for me.
Yeah.
And he always guided me. Somehow I knew him. While I was in school in Djibouti, I gave my life to Christ at the age of 15 or 16. And that kind of helped me a lot. Do you understand? It helped me to put things in perspective, knowing that I had hope in something, and it guided me through things. I was a member of SU. So that also put sanity. Took away all kind of waywardness, made me understand the perspective of being focused on God, you know. So all the things that could throw me off course, God just used the Christianity bit to put me in a straight course. So that kind of helped me a lot. Yeah.
And I guess now you've forgiven everyone, and
oh yeah, I have nothing against anyone, because like I said, my past is my story. I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of it at all. That's what made me. That's who I am. You can't take away who you are. I mean, I went to school in Our Lady Djibouti, and I had uncles that were taxi drivers, and I was always happy to say, "Oh, that's my uncle. My dad's cousin. It's this and that." I am happy in who I am. I'm not. I don't. No chip on my shoulder. No, I have nothing against anybody, really. Honestly.
Wow. Okay, so so you went to school and all of that, and then how did you met your husband?
Oh, I met my husband. That was a coincidental thing. I was okay. Another funny story. I was avoiding going home, and I decided to stay up with my friend in Sulere, my former friend in Sulere, and so while I was going to UTC then in Sulere, he would drive past, he would see me, and then one day got the courage to talk to me, and found a way to trace where I was staying, and just never left me alone. And 2-3 years down the line, we were married, And but the first thing I realized with him was that I could talk to him. He was my friend first. I felt comfortable telling him my past, you know, and telling him who I am, sharing my stories, and he had the ability to listen without really judging. So that kind of made it easy for the relationship, so to speak, you know. And yeah, that's that.
Okay. Someone just asked,
Forward.
did your stepmom ever apologize to you?
I can hear.
It's frozen.
Oh
okay.
Yes.
So someone asked that.
I think you're going off. I can see.
Okay, and I was just going to say you are going off because I can see. Okay. Is it me or is it Funke? Because I can. Is it me that's gone off, folks? Let me know. Or is it Funke that's gone off?
I can see you. No, I'm over. I'm on. I can see you. I can see.
Okay. So can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So did your stepmom ever apologize to you? Okay.
Funny enough, funny you said that. Honestly, I never thought she offended me. I never thought she did, because honestly, she was just doing her own bits, the way she understood it. She was also young or anything, and like, I'm not her child in any which way. If anything, I'll blame my dad. But yes, she did apologize. Like during 2020 last year, she called me and said sorry and so on and so forth, and that kind of. And I'm like, sorry for what, really? Because I mean, what has happened is happened. That's my past. It's not. It doesn't stop me. Doesn't stop anything. It doesn't change. It doesn't change anything, so to speak. And I remember once a friend of mine said to me that, you know, that you don't seem to hold any grudge against them or anything. I said no, because my stepmother is my stepmother. She's not my mother. So there's really nothing to be angry about.
Okay, that's good.
You know, there's really nothing to be, honestly, nothing to be angry about. Yeah, there are things that happen that are painful, but you know what? They've happened. There's no point in hanging on to it. And like I said, it makes you a better person. It makes you a stronger person, and so on and so forth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know that. I guess because there's some things you probably can't share, but I'm sure that there's a lot more that you went through. But thank God that you've come out stronger, and there's no bitterness. You've forgiven everybody. Thank God for that, because that's the most important thing. And even your dad, how do you feel? What's your relationship with your dad like?
I'm very close to my dad. I mean, we are close. He's my dad.
Okay.
He's my dad. I mean, yeah. My dad will be 80 next year, and that's about it. No, nothing. I hold no grudge against anybody. Everybody was just living their lives at that point in time, and I was living mine. Most of my hurts didn't even come from my immediate family. My stepmom, it came from my childhood, trying to understand life and everything. And sometimes I actually blame myself for whatever I went through. That maybe because I was coming from baggage upon baggage upon baggage. Maybe it's me. Maybe I expected more, and so on and so forth. So
no way. When you were when they took you from Russia at 3 to Nigeria, there's no way it could have been your fault.
Yeah,
definitely no way.
But but we all have our expectations in life.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it doesn't affect who I am. It doesn't affect my views to life. It just makes me a better and stronger person, and it makes me to understand people's pain. It makes whatever experience anybody has, really makes that's who we really are. And it kind of makes you understand. It makes me understand people in pain and understand people's views and have a bit more empathy and sympathy and so on and so forth. And maybe a bit kinder.
Yes. You know, someone said you're so forgiving, and I guess It's so true, because some other
It's
people could have, some
not
other
a,
person could have come out bitter and,
no. It's not a function of you're forgiven. It's not. You see, it's not a function of if I have to hold any grudge. It's not really
yeah,
against my immediate family, against my extended family.
yeah,
Actually, because that's the condition and that's the initial source of pain. But at the same time, it's something that I've been through, and holding grudge would only hold you down, or being bitter
true.
would only hold you down. And
Yeah,
like I said, it's your experience.
yeah,
You're expected to just live. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm reading some of the comments. It's your experience. You've lived it. I'm
yeah,
over 50. I mean, what am I going to do with pain and hurt and any other thing? I love my family. I love my immediate family. I love my extended family.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And the truth is that I love your perspective. I love who you are now, because you've lived through it. And like you said, what are you going to do at 50? Just get on with life.
Yeah.
Okay, so wow. But we really, really are grateful to God for, because I know that the other people who's gone through, probably not even half of what you've been through, and it's broken them and damaged them. But thank God
Like I
that
said,
mercy
mercy spoke for me. The message
spoke for
was
you.
my angels and my God's angels, have always been my guide. And I said I became a Christian at a very, very young age. I decided that because my family are also Muslims. So growing up between Alajas and Alajis and not knowing where you want to be. But I mean, God called me
Yeah,
and kind of put things in proper perspective. And that my hope was Christ, and that kind of
yeah.
yeah.
I think, like someone said, it's that giving your life early that probably helped a lot. Definitely helped a lot.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
Okay. So yes, you're married. Go on, tell us more now. If you guys have any questions for Funke, please put it in the question box. Go on.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I'm married. Happy going on 26 years now.
Okay.
But even then, marriage also has its own challenges. There's the baggage that comes with it, your own personal baggage, and two people, two different perspective of life. Like we all would have gone through that, and I'm sure you two have seen a bit of that.
Yes.
However, in my husband was my friend in the first instance,
Yeah.
and some years back had a bit of fell ill, critically ill, and this same strength. I remember being at the hospital and somebody said, "Oh, Funke, fragile Funke," and stuff like that. And my stepmother was there, and she said to the lady and said, "Oh, that Funke, this is my own Funke. My own Funke is not. My Funke is very strong, and like that." So that strength of your child. That's why I said you can't hold back. Your past is who you are. It makes your present in the first instance. So you need to hold on to it and not be bitter about it, because it's an experience.
Yeah.
Your experience is what makes you. If you work in an organization, whatever you come out of it, whether you come out of there penniless, you gain an experience, so you gain something. So that's what helped me go through every other challenge that I had growing up. And the most important thing was that I learned to talk. Just having somebody to talk to, even just talking to a stone, just saying out your mind really helps. And when my husband had this challenge, I mean, I had friends, Fulola, Debbie, and co, and I was able to talk, and that kind of helped me go through my challenges and made me find help. And I will speak specifically about myself because during my husband's recovery, I also fell ill.
Wow.
I felt very ill. I had cancer.
Wow.
So to speak. But it was, I always say that as human beings, as women, as helpmates, as whatever, as people trying to survive, we need to take it easy and listen to ourselves, because cancer is hereditary, but it's also stress induced,
Yeah.
so to speak. So you have a wound and it becomes cancerous because your body cannot fight whatever wound it is. So, but what helped me most was ability to speak.
Okay.
So I'm able to talk about my pain.
Okay.
I'm able to, in talking, I got help. I got financial help. I got medical direction. I remember when the day I was diagnosed and I came home and it was like, oh, so what do I do? I have my friend Debbie. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah, I know Debbie.
A good friend. So Debbie now, so she called her friend in America, in Baltimore, and we're looking for LaRouche, which is Funlola's friend, that is not my own friend, in South Africa. So, okay, what hospital do we go? Nigeria was out of it and everything. And as we were discussing how to go about it and so on and so forth, that was when another friend just came to the house unknowingly to greet us at 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And he started talking about the same. And my husband did eyes to me now, don't talk. I'm like, I won't say what. I said, you are alive today because I spoke. I asked for help. If it's just in prayers, you need to talk it out. Because people have more empathy. And even if it's verbal sympathy that they don't, even though they don't know what it is, but they can actually say, hey, yeah, it actually goes a long way.
Yeah.
And so that was how I spoke. And that was how she was able to give me details of a Nigerian doctor in the UK that was able to help. And I remember then that in America, they had given me like a 2 weeks to a month plan before the final operation would take place. I called him like on a Tuesday. By that weekend, by Saturday, the whole thing was done and over with.
Wow.
The process that would take 2 weeks took 1 day.
Wow. Because you spoke.
Because I spoke. And in speaking, you see help. You see financial help, you see empathy, you see sympathy. And believe me, psychologically, it helps.
But the challenge with our people, I'm sure you know this, is that people would like to keep things. Sorry?
I call it the Nigerian factor.
The Nigerian factor. I don't know why. I guess I really don't understand. Sometimes they think muscles don't muscle. Yes.
It's in your, they say it's from childhood. You know, magic. I mean, they say all these things that don't talk out your secrets.
Yeah.
You don't know the mind of people. Yeah. But then, if you're not knowing the mind of people, this is there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Help comes from outside. Help, you cannot help yourself. Do you understand? Yeah. Even if it's odd, 10 pounds, 1 pound, 1 naira, 2 naira, just even you're in my prayers. Believe me, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
And it allows you to deal with the situation as it comes. Yeah. Do you understand? It gives you this inner strength and so on and so forth.
Yes.
You know, talking is psychologically is key. Whether you're going through depression or you're going to sad moments or you're going to, it doesn't matter who is listening. It doesn't even matter what they think. Really, it's all about how you feel. Yeah. We must all just learn to speak up and say, listen, yes, I'm going through this. What do I do? How can I do? It does not matter who is judging you. That judgment, leave it for them. It's their headache. Yeah. At the end of the day.
Please preach it. That will speak for let them know. Because the one I find more amazing that someone has cancer and you still feel there's a stigma, so you cannot talk. I don't understand. It's not your fault that you have cancer or you have
something last week Sunday. They said it's not a sin.
It's not. Exactly. It's not a sin.
If it was, even if you had some unique, sinful sicknesses, you know what? Mercy speaks. God, the grace of God is there. Yeah. Okay, I have this issue. What do I do? Talking help will come. Medical help, spiritual help. Yeah. You know, all kind of helps, and that's all we need. And the fact that that person is praying for me is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Somebody I'm really need to, because it's preached from the family to the pulpit, not to talk. But such a wrong perspective. That is why in abroad, in the foreign, now I'm maybe in Nigeria, you have psychologists. Yes. Because all they do is listen. Is also listen to you yourself will find a solution actually. Yes. It's an avenue to speak it out and be able to measure what is going on. And in talking, you'll be able to analyze that. No, maybe I had the wrong mindset. Maybe I had this and that. And and life challenge.
And you know, it's funny. Some people say, oh, God will, but God will use people.
Yes.
God will use people. So I know you can pray, we can pray about it, but still you speak because God will use people.
No,
God will use people to help you financially. God will use people. I mean, like you said about the medical help that you got.
I got
It's because you spoke.
medical help. I remember sitting down, thinking, oh my God, you know, when my husband was going through so much, there was so much money spent. How am I going to do it? Blah, 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 blah. So I got a call and said, oh, Funke, do you mind if I do this? Do you mind if I do that? I said, yeah, go away. Go ahead and do it. By the grace of God, all my issues were taken care of. So, you know, and so on and so forth. So, you know, like I said, help comes from talking. If you don't talk, listen. Even if your child is going through whatever the child is going through, you're not the only one going through it. Some other children, you have, so people will share their experience. People that have been through it would share their experience. So this is how I came over it, and so on and so forth. And that would help you to say, okay, I'm not alone in this. This person, things are going to get better at that side of the road, and just everything about life is just, that's just it. You know, and that's what.
It's interesting because the lie of the devil or enemy is that he wants you to feel that you're the only one. This thing is peculiar to you. You're the only one that's been through this. It's only your child that has been through this. But meanwhile, if you speak out, then you get help because there are lots of other people who have been through things, going through.
Yes. It's not. It's just life, and like I said, taking life one day at a time, it really does help you to overcome. And like, this thing is happening. What do I do? How you can help me? It's either you listen and help me, or you listen and don't help me. But guess what? I've said my own.
I like that.
And then
like that.
The next person tell, because it becomes a gist. That's the irony of life. People like gist.
Yeah.
So they talk to the next person. That person might be able to help and understand. For example, you come to tell me if somebody is going through something, I will listen, even if I can't do anything, but at least I will understand that person's pain, so that when I'm relating to that person, I would truly understand the person's pain because I know what is going on. So what we think sometimes is gist, because Nigerians generally like to gist, sometimes can be helpful, you know. And always, I on my DP, I say, do you understand? It's the person that has the person's issues that we see. You don't know the persons that we're going to face tomorrow, the person that's going to face challenges tomorrow, and so on and so forth. So that's the way that's the way I see life anyways.
No, but you're right, okay. It's so true, and it's very important. Speak up, Soros, okay, because you just never gonna know where God is going to send the help from. It's so important. So you went through the cancer thing. How long was that for? How long was that?
So after the operation in February, the year after, this thing I think took place on the 3rd of December. So I started the chemotherapy 6 months. I was in the UK for 6 months, and and like I said, take each day at a time. It had an impact any form of illness has an impact on the family, on the spouse, on the children, and so on and so forth. And it's for whoever is going through a form of pain. It doesn't have to be cancer. Any form of issue, to understand that their actions or their reactions also has an impact on their immediate surroundings, especially the children whose minds are fragile. Never assume that they are you. Never assume that they are strong as you. Do you understand? Because they are growing up in totally different circumstances as you. So we need to pay a bit more attention to yourself and to them as well. You know, and that's my experience so far. And and obviously for whoever is going through or has gone through chemotherapy and has come out of it, I would always advise, be observant.
Okay. Why did you say why? Was that what? Explain that. What do you mean?
Because your body speaks to you. How did I even discover the cancer itself? I mean, colon cancer is not something that you find. I see charity somewhere here. And I remember then my dad's 70th birthday. My cousins, I don't know if you remember, I was really very thin. You know, sometimes we think being thin is nice, it's good because we're trying to lose weight. But sometimes being thin is your body telling you that, oh girl, oh boy, oh girl, there's something going on. You know, there's something drinking out your blood, there's something really going on. And I remember my cousin came into that party that day, and she said to me, "There's something. Why are you so skinny?" And I thought, I don't know. Being skinny is a bad thing, you know. And but apparently that was a major problem for me. And as time went on, I became more tired. But at the end of the day, I remember um, saying that, I mean, I took myself to the doctor to actually discover that there is something amiss. There's something going on. I cannot put my finger at it. So that's where listening to your body comes in, and paying attention to yourself, that there's really something wrong. I remember in the year before then, I came in from South Africa. That's during my husband's recovery. And I remember I was bloating. I was bloating I mean, I couldn't explain it. And I went to the doctor, Dr. Yaga, God bless her. And she checked me, she did a ultrasound, and there was water in all my system, my lungs, my liver, my stomach.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa. And I said, okay. Then I took a step back and decided to, okay, take care of myself. Let me leave everybody for once and actually take care of myself. I went to the gym, I started working out, I took away the coil and paid a bit more attention to myself.
Okay. But I guess someone would say, because you had been taking care of your husband, because he had been ill, so you were just going on and you were not taking care of yourself.
Yeah. That was, I mean, I had no choice. I had to do what I had to do. And that's one thing life, you just do what you have to do because you have to do it. No explanation, just do it. Do you understand? Yeah. So at that point in time, I started taking care of myself. I did yoga, did everything I was doing. So instead of now bloating, I now lost weight drastically. But I think that was then I was fasting.
Okay.
You see, that's when even I say fasting. I mean, I remember some years back when my driver decided to do a 7 days or so dry fast. I told him, be careful, because you're not a young man. This is my driver of many years at the time. And I said, you're no longer a young man. You have to listen to your body when you're fasting, because sometimes in all this stress and we're believing God, we're fasting, what we're also doing is breaking our body down.
Yes.
That's having ourselves of nutrients and so on and so forth that the body needs to actually survive. Yeah. So I remember I was still retaining water. I was still on the big side, and I did a 7 days fast. It was 2011. Okay. I remember because a friend's husband died about that time. And I moved on. You not have even guessed I was fasting, but believe me, since then, it was when actually something really switched in my physical body. Because that's when I went downhill. The weights just dropped without explaining until like a year or two before I decided to go and do a medical. Told my doctor to check me out, that I'm always too tired. And then she discovered that there was a lump around my stomach. And she was the only one that saw it. Me and her were the only people that saw it. No other doctor saw it until they did a colonoscopy. Until my blood level dropped to, I think, 6.8. And I mean, that's below a normal person. That's a dead, going towards the dead bodies thing.
Wow.
And then now said, she now said to me that, she sent the results to a friend of hers in America and said, is that person alive? That's when I panicked. Wow. My dad, a friend of mine, and everything, we went to do another test and the blood level had dropped again. That's when we knew there was something wrong. So we said, my dad sent me to a friend of his who was I think he's late now, Professor Lumide. And we began to investigate. That was when they discovered that I had what I had, and that was that.
Did they say what stage was it at this time?
I honestly don't remember, but it was far gone enough to be dangerous, because he had broken out of the wall of the intestine. Wow. And that's why I had to do a form of chemotherapy. If he hadn't, and it was still contained, right, then I would not have done chemotherapy.
Wow. Thank God you survived it. Wow.
Thank God.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's
so in fact, let me recount. So because some people have just joined us, so they probably don't understand. She was, for those who have just joined, Funke was taken from Russia when she was 3, and she went through it a lot. So you probably have to go watch this replay to understand her story. Her husband had health challenges. She had health challenges. colon cancer, fluid in your lungs. Which one? It was the fluid before the cancer, right?
Yeah. But I think it was
stress related.
Yeah.
Can you hear? Okay. It was stress related.
Yes, I can.
Wow. You have been through a lot, but like you said, mercy spoke. Yeah, Funala said she calls you a walking miracle. Seriously.
Yeah.
Wow. My goodness. Okay. Anything else you want to share with us?
Not really. That's my life in a nutshell. I mean, if I break it down, I'll go too many details, and I don't really want to do that.
Okay.
But like, I would always advise for all of us to just take life as it comes. Life is life, and as we see it, we deal with it. But I would also advise that we speak up, because in speaking up, we ask for help, and give people a chance to actually help. Because there's this TikTok and thing I watch where a little boy said a man was stuck in the middle of the water, and a boat came along and said, "Can I help you?" And said, "No, go." And the guy, two different people came and said, "God will help me." So the guy dies and drowns and goes to heaven and said, "God, you didn't help me." God said, I sent 3 people to you, and you did not receive the help. So even when God sends help, and it's always people that helps. Do you understand? And for those of us that have been through challenge, I would always advise, let it go. Yeah. It does not. I mean, it's something that we've all been through. There's no point. It doesn't help us to hold on to pain, to bitterness, and not everybody else has gone through pain, because pain does not it's not a nice feeling. Do you understand? Even though it's emotional, that's even worse, because it's damaging. It builds a very dark whatever in our mind, in our heart, and guess what? It has an impact on our physical body.
Yes, definitely. And
so we need to
that's medically. That's what even the medics will tell you. That's so true. You have to.
But you have to let go. That's my own experience. But then my dad is a doctor, so I would say maybe I have a bit of medical whatever. So yeah.
So folks, please, you heard from Funke, and that's one of the reasons why she agreed to do this. Because as she said, someone died a few weeks ago. I think,
a week ago,
they didn't know about it. And I mean, we don't know if maybe she had spoken about it. I don't want to go into that, but please speak up. You never know where help can come from. God, even the God that you pray to, is going to use human beings to help you to pray, finances, even if it's just someone coming to help you around the home. But speak. It's so important. And Funke, we are so grateful to God for your life. Do you know, I feel like saying, so what next? What next? What are you looking forward to? Because I know God has a plan for you.
Well, like with God's plan, I just take each day at a time.
Okay.
I take each day at a time. God always makes a way. I mean, God just makes a way for you, just as long as you're trusting Him. If you say, "Oh yeah, there's a problem coming, you're going to do it," how are you going to do it? God just does it. I mean, take my own bills, for example. Like I said, I sat to my sister, and God provided the money. I didn't have it, but God provided it, and I went through. But that's because I spoke up. Yeah. If I don't tell somebody that I'm broke, how is anybody going to give me anything?
That's true. That is so true. Wow. One last question. If you guys have, before we go, because we're literally done it, if you've got any question for Funke, just put it in the comment box quickly. One last question, Funke. When you're going through all these challenges, how do you deal with telling your children? Because I know I've got someone here who came on to tell us about she had breast cancer. And I remember she said she didn't tell her son, but her son he overheard her talking, or people talking about it. That's how her son found out. So how do you handle telling children?
Well, depends on the age of the child, but I've always believed, I made it. I think in my case, my first son was in boarding school in the UK then, and it affected him, like I said. And I told the principal, or the housemaster, or his guardian, who now told him. That was a major mistake, because it brought in a lot of uncertainty, being what they've been through with their dad. They saw their dad go through all this ups and downside. So me being affected him psychologically or somehow. So, but I've also learned I don't hide things from my kids, and as it's happening, they know. So that if I was there to assure him that things were going to be all right, yes, then they may have been able to deal with it better.
Okay.
But hiding things from anybody is not really a great thing either, because it can bring a kind of resentment. It can make them not feel included in the situation. Maybe their life is going to be affected by whatever is going on. So that's also a very, I wouldn't advise it. It's a very painful thing. And I always advise people that, listen, whatever you're going through, make sure your children know, because you're not doing them any help. Whether it is husband battery, wife battery, and everything, carry the children along so they can have a proper understanding of your actions or your reactions. Because if they don't, you end up being the one to blame.
Sure.
That's my experience. Growing up, seeing people go through what they go through, I've always said, listen, I advise actually that don't hide it. Just let them know. If there's money, let them know there's money. If there's no money, don't let them know there's no money, so they're not expecting much from you. No, it's true. So they know that they have to work harder. If you are in pain, let them know you're in pain, so they know how to help you also.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So on and so forth. Whatever it is has a massive impact on their own life.
Someone asked, would you ever try to track down your mom?
I think that ship has sailed, really. I mean, it's not because I didn't try. Actually, I had an offer recently, like a year and a half ago, and I don't think I want to, actually. I really don't think I want to. I don't think, what I don't know, I don't know. I don't want to know what I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm not even sure, because in fact, the year all this cancer thing started, my dad and I were meant to go to Russia, and for some reason, because of it couldn't happen. So I don't know. If God wills for me to meet her, it's fine. But personally, I mean, my husband and I still had this discussion this week. I'm not really that keen on it.
Okay. Guys, if you have any other questions, let us know before Funke goes. But Funke, thank you so much for coming to share. I really, really, really do appreciate you. And this woman is amazing. I'll tell you why I say she's amazing. In the middle of the pandemic, I'm here, but my sister was over here too, because her kids are in school here, and so she was stuck here. And my mom fell down the stairs. And one of the people that went to her aid, took her to the hospital and all of that, was Funke. She looked after her like a daughter will look after a mother. So Funke, thank you again. We really do appreciate you. And I know that sometimes when I speak to mom, she say, "Oh, Funke, what do you call Funke? Funke this, Funke that." Thank you. You are really, really an amazing woman, and we appreciate you. We love you. Your mom's second daughter, third daughter. Thank you. Okay, yes, and Funke and Debbie. Yes, Debbie. I think I saw Debbie on too. Debbie, thank you so much. Two of you. We really do appreciate you guys. Amazing women. Fulana, you have some good friends. Oh, let me tell you this before we go. So a couple of days ago, I was having a conversation with some friends, and previously we had done an episode about widowhood, and one of my friends that came on, who's a solicitor, said we should get I think it's called power of attorney, so that if anything happens to you and you can't make decisions, you appoint someone who can make decisions on your behalf. So when I was talking to my friends a few days ago, she now said to me that, oh, she's told her children that if anything happens to her, that there are certain friends that they can rely on. So she said, and she said to me, she said, it's not everybody that comes into my house that is my friend, though. Let me tell you the ones that are my friends that you can rely on. So she mentioned something. So I'm sure that when Fulala, as in my sister, is calling on those that she can rely on, in terms of you and Debbie will be one of those lasting power of attorney. That's right, yeah. So no, but that document is important. You need and you don't have to be a UK. I can send it out and put it up. You don't need to be a UK citizen to fill it out. but just so that people know who to call if anything happens to you. So yeah, thank you, Funke, again for being amazing. God bless you. I think a question has come. Okay, there's a question that says, what if I guess your mother's family found you? How would you feel? So if they come looking for you, I guess that's...
You just take it. I mean, like I said, take it till they come. If they find me, fine, but I doubt that. But I doubt it. I doubt it. I'm not even sure they know I exist. You know, like I said, one of the ways I dealt with that was that I told myself, listen, she was so young when she had me. And I mean, moving on would be easier for her.
Yeah.
Let's pretend that because at the time I was born, I mean, black people were strangers in Russia, black Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, so for me, if she finds me, fine. If she doesn't, well, oh well and good. I don't miss it. I mean, the time to miss her is gone.
It's gone, yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you again. God bless you. Really do appreciate you. And yeah, so folks, see you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you very much, Rita.